Welcome back to another episode of the Steebee Weebee Show. Don't sleep on it. Keep watching. We have a very special guest tonight. It's a high school Poway reunion. I haven't seen this guy in 30 years. Please welcome Shann Navarro, a.k.a. The Relayer. What's up, player? Oh, man, it's been a while. How you feeling, man?
It's been a long time, man. Grateful to be here, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Can we start off like, hey, cheers, hey, let's open our energy drinks together. I got you. On your sobriety.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because you caught me. Because I hadn't talked to you. Well, seriously, how long has it been? You came to visit me in Echo Park, Silver Lake. Remember, I was living with Bob up in the.
I think I came to visit you here one time. Like maybe like this was probably like close to 20 years ago, though. I don't know if you've been here that long, but
18 in here.
Yeah. I just a couple weeks ago on the 9th of this month, I just took a ninth month chips. You know, a 9th month chip. You know.
Dude, that makes me happy, man. And so, I mean, we'll get into all the stories, man, because out of all, let's give them some context, because we had a crew back in the day called the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Who came up with it?
I think we were like hanging out after school over at Joe On's house.
Shout out to Joe. We gotta give Joe. Shout out to our buddy Joe On.
Anthony Lee.
John
Lee.
Rich Salo. Bill Lundy.
Jim Gassetti.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Glenn
Aranis.
Mikey
Aranis.
Mikey Galena.
Mikey. But we all had a group. And should I grab the yearbook real quick? Because
if you want to, man.
Because so at the end of the year, the seniors get to pay money to get their own spread in the yearbook. And what these guys did, because they were stoners. We were all stoners, but they were creative. And so they, out of the photos, they created a marijuana leaf. Yeah. And you do know that, because, I talked to my cousin Eddie. You remember Eddie? Mm-hmm. He even said, because of our class, we're not going to say the class, but they enforce stricter rules.
Yeah.
So I'll be right. Hold up. Let me see here. Hopefully I can hide the date. So let's hide the date. I'm hiding the date because it's going to outdate us because we're close to Mr. Miyagi age right now. We're getting there. So this is Poway High. And do you remember if Tom DeLonge nice to you?
He was cool. I remember he used to get kind of like rejected to do gigs back then.
So you remember?
Yeah, I remember him.
Remember the keggers? No one cared.
Yeah, but I remember he had like a good blueprint of how to like blow up like in music. You know what I mean?
But you know what the thing about Tom? And there's no shade on Tom. We love Tom.
Yeah.
Everybody liked him. The surfers, the skaters, the jocks. Everybody loved Tom. He wasn't it homecoming king?
Yeah, he was like, he was a fun guy to be around. You know what I'm saying? He had a sense of humor. But like I said, like in high school.
So this is it.
He really didn't get a chance to show off his skills.
Yeah, but I just remember he used to, and Blink wasn't formed back then, right? I mean, check it out, dude. Let's show the. You can't see much. Wait, let me just put it in front of the.
Those were the days, though, man. You know.
I'll take photos of it. But yeah, those were the days, and you guys, man. I mean, because the thing about you is you introduced me. I was kind of into hip hop, but you introduced me to most of it. I owe it to you, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you weren't from, like, Anthony I grew up with, and all, you know, Joe came, like, his freshman year, but you came down from Anna, you drive down, you had the WuTang Protect Your Neck cassette tape. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then you had all these groups. I'm like, who's Main Source, or who's this? You had all of it.
I remember I went to go see WuTang in Hollywood way back then. And Ghostface, Tony Starks, used to wear like a fencing mask on stage. You know, this is before he revealed his identity.
Well, this is before they dropped 36 Chambers. Then.
Yeah, but this is when he used to wear the fencing mask on stage.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy. You never told me. Was I around?
And it was like the first time that I ever seen that many people on stage rocking a hip hop show. You know what I'm saying? And
that impacted us. That tape impacted us. We were like, who's WuTang?
Yeah, WuTang.
We thought they were Asian. I'm like, are they Asian? Because the name.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
I used to bump that in the MPC, brother.
Yeah.
You remember those days?
Yeah.
And this is another story, and we kind of brushed upon this. We discovered the Far Side kind of during that time in 91, 92.
Mm-hmm.
The distillery. So there used to be a thing called house dancing, and it was like kind of like b-boying. You didn't hit the ground. Yeah. It would be mostly like what's this with the true?
Yeah, this is like when dudes used to wear like LA gears.
LA gear.
And used to wear like jerbots and used to wear like rayon shirts.
Yeah. Polka dot. Remember the polka dot shirts?
The colorful prints.
Kwame.
Yeah,
the Boy Genius. All that.
Like Chess King and like U-Man and all that, Z Cavaricci's, like that era, you know what I'm saying?
And I have to admit, I was jealous of you and Anthony's attire. You guys always had the best gear out of all of the art group. I mean, you had every I remember, color. You had some colors, different colors of jerbos.
I remember you guys, like back in the day, used to rock, hockey jerseys. Used to rock like this the Blackhawks jersey. With the red LA gears.
Yeah, you
back in the
remember
day.
that?
Yeah,
You remember the red ones I had? Yeah.
And I remember Anthony used to rock the what do you call it? He had a Oakland A's
baseball.
jersey.
Jersey.
And he used to rock with the green LA gears.
Anthony, if you're out there, I don't know. Please reach out to us. We love you, brother, and that's family, dude. You know. But anyway, Distillery was a club in Escondido, California, kind of near Poway.
Escondido, yeah.
We would, in your Suzuki Samurai, we would sneak. Was it school nights too? Would you say Sundays or?
All I remember about like school nights back then, man. Once I had my license,
we're gonna get to the alcohol. We're gonna get to the beers after. Yeah, we'll get to all that, the fake ID.
Yeah, but
because he's the one that had.
I was like, I was McLovin before Fogel was.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And that's when you got in with everybody. Yeah, like the football team was hanging out.
I was afforded to be able to go to these parties because I could. Because you used to get the kegs, used to get the cases of beer, and the bottles of Southern Comfort, and and I remember like Wednesday nights, I'd be taking like 340s to the neck and have to go to school like the next day. You know what I mean?
You used to pound those bad boys.
Yeah,
I learned to kind of learned to drink just hanging out with you guys, to be honest. But Distillery, we were there one night. And I'm like, I don't know if we even knew. Like, I didn't know who I was there to see, but I remember, like the Distillery was a smaller club, and I'm like, how are they gonna perform? And I'm looking at the stools. Let me get to it, and I see a Far Side sticker, and it's like a fire hydrant and a dog. It's a yellow, black, and white sticker, and I'm like, what is this? Far Side? And I just remember watching these cats perform, like, in my jaw drop. I'm like, oh, these cats are from LA? Or do you remember Fat Lip was doing like sit-ups and stuff?
Yeah.
And they rocked the fucking house. I'm like, they were like, it was cool because like I always thought like because we're from Poway, San Diego. I'm like, I thought these LA dudes are supposed to be like hard, like kind of gangster dudes, but they weren't. They're like they had the skater vibe, Vans and shit. And
yeah, they were kind of like that alternative like hip hop group that like was like the first on the scene. This is even before like Hyro. And,
so we discovered the Far Side. I want to get to the Hyro thing too, because remember you peeped me to, Hyro's about to battle Hobo Junction. I'm like, who's Hobo Junction? And you're like, and you and your brother used to meditate on Saphir hard.
Yeah, because I mean he was super ill, man. I think he was like way ahead of his time. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of misunderstood because he was so far ahead of everybody else.
Well, just his even his rhyming structure was it's kind of like a jazz musician where he would pause and then
I mean, if you listen to that album today,
what Boxcar Sessions,
Sessions,
still holds
man,
up, doesn't
it? It still holds up. It's probably one of my top 10 albums like, of all time. Yeah, for sure.
I remember just visiting you and your bro when the Anaheim house. I think your uncle, who's the trumpet player?
My Lolo.
Your Lolo
my
lived
grandfather,
there.
Yeah.
And then Larry would come out and he was like he was gonna drop a hit of acid and listen to Boxcar Sessions. And he'd always you guys would always analyze him like, oh yeah, he's on some shit.
I'm telling you, man, if you read like his lyrics in that album, I mean he's on some some craziness, dude.
Was he on drugs, you think?
I mean, he had to have been. I mean, he's from the Bay. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the culture is like up there, but if you look at like where he was lyrically versus everybody else, I mean,
he was different.
He was
too.
advanced. He was advanced.
Because you had your catch rec kind of like UMCs or Dream Warriors or the Wascals, like kind of the zany type dudes. Mm-hmm. And then you had your kind of like the stylistic dudes that rap fast, like the Freestyle Fellowship dudes. Yeah. And then we're gonna get to Hyro because they had a huge influence. They still do. I still love Del, but so the Far Side kind of like opened up my eyes, and I'm like, and I always loved the Beastie Boys, but I remember I think it was your crib up in Anaheim, but you had a picture of, it was like Beastie Boys were in there, and then I think it was like
major influence, bro, major influence.
So what would you say? Because back then, you introduced me to Main Source and all these other groups. Oh, Jungle Brothers.
Jungle Brothers was another one. Of course, De La Soul. Rest in peace, the True Boy. Tribe, of course. Any of the Native Tugs family was top notch.
Even Chi Ali was kind of hard back then because he was the younger dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean all of that. The 45 King.
The production kind of group, yeah.
And like my introduction to a lot of that East Coast hip hop was when I was younger. My brother used to have this thing about recording every video that they ever had on Yo MTV Raps and BET, and he would
there's some 25-year-olds.
Yeah, and he would document all of these videos that were played on these channels, and I'm talking about everything from early stuff,
like Mobb Deep shit, and
but
KMD too. Yeah, that had a huge impact. Me and Mikey like KMD.
When Fab Five Freddy used to host and Ed Lover and Dr. Dre.
So there used to be a channel called MTV Music Television, and that was back then. They would actually show music videos. Now it's more based on reality TV, but back then at 4:30, we'd go to Anthony's to watch it too. It would be Yo MTV Raps,
and wouldn't miss it.
We would religiously. On some nerd shit, we did not want to miss it because sometimes they would have live performances on there, but I got hip to a lot of shit just watching that shit.
And then as it progressed, in the early 90s, I'd say mid 90s, that was kind of considered the golden era. And when I moved back up to Anaheim, that's when I got introduced to Friday Night Flavors and The Joint, King M's, Mike Nardone, and Sway and Tech. Those things, I used to always record those shows on on
I
tapes.
I remember you used to do that. You used to have cassette tapes of radio shows and shit.
Yeah, and they would have like live
Freestyle
sessions.
Yeah. And that's when. How did you discover hieroglyphics? Like, was it Yo MTV Raps? Because maybe Dell's video.
Yeah, because those guys were a part of like Dell's like production team early on, and Dell of
like
course,
Domino and them dudes.
Dell of course was like a part of America's Most Wanted. Ice Cube's like probably his greatest album. I think his greatest album.
Yeah, that's
the first album that when he left NWA.
Yeah.
When he left NWA, and then Dell's in the liner notes.
Ghost like kind of like writing credits.
There was like I remember there used to be this one this interlude on America's Most Wanted about the dude going through the drive-through.
Yeah. And so Dell was kind of like in the cut, like just fucking learning shit from just being around Ice Cube and Jinx.
And I think he even like had like co-writers production on
a Yo-Yo's album.
No, A Gangsta's Fairy Tale.
That's right.
Little boys and girls, they all love me.
Yeah, so Dell was a prodigy.
And anything that was like affiliated with that album, America's Most Wanted was like they were worth peeping.
Yeah,
before
that's before Souls dropped. That's before they even dropped.
When you used to have to buy music, right? A lot of times, like we would either like base it based on like the album cover, or who was involved, who was like production on the production team, or whoever had co-production.
We used to go there.
Dude, Tower Records.
And then did we go? Okay, there's a mall called North County Fair. You remember those days?
Yeah.
North County Fair.
I used to work there.
Yeah. But we used to. Wasn't there like a music spot up there on the third level?
I don't really remember that. What, Music Plus or something?
No. Where it was kind of like a warehouse.
Tower Records.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but a different name. But we used to go get tapes there because they used to sell 12-inch tapes. Like just if you wanted to buy the singles and shit, like. I kind of got into the R&B.
Dude,
the Mint Condition and
all of that, man.
Troop. Spread My Wings.
If you're looking at your book, man, I'm rocking one of them Color Me Bad haircuts back in the day.
Yeah, we were kind of colorful. Like we had colorful attire. Do you remember my remember I got that
that shit used to work, bro.
Oh, I know. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. But
I look back at all that media that I used to have, right? Whether there was like CDs or tapes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stuff, man, it would be gold now. You know what I mean? Like because how everything like eventually comes back, right?
What they digitize it, put it on YouTube, or
yeah, but like having the that actual like piece of media. Is like you can't buy that no more. You know what I'm saying?
Like some of your beat.
Yeah, tapes. I mean, all those tapes, man. Like are classics, and all the stuff that I had, in my collection.
Classics.
Yeah, classic stuff. That's all that I used to buy.
Even those radio shows, you can't duplicate that, or how do you get that?
Yeah, if you would ever be able to find any of that stuff today, it would be like a super find. You know what I'm saying?
It would be a rarity.
Yeah, a rarity for real.
Now I want to get into because dude, people don't know like Shann's. AKA the Relayer, you've produced quite a bit of stuff for me, like this like the independent stuff we put out, and people don't really know, and I wanna like kind of push you out there, like as far as your production to me has been phenomenal, like because you were ahead of the curve back then, like. I remember you brought me to Fry's to get a computer. You're like, you got to get a computer. And you introduced me to the first Fruity Loops. You had, out of everybody, you had the first MPC. Like, how did you get into production?
I remember, because it was always a financial thing. Because my brother, I remember he had a Nakai SO1. And, it was like, a very simple, I think it had like maybe like 10, 12 seconds of sampling time on it.
Mm-hmm. Was it a keyboard?
No, it was just like a rack mount.
Oh, it was a rack mount sampler.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
And like, it had like 12 seconds on there. So like, you used to have to like make do with the time that you did have. And, a lot of the production that I used to like was just like simple break beats with just some like, some sonic space orchestra type weirdness over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And like that was like, you know, how we used to record stuff on a 4-track, you know.
Describe
and
to them what a 4-track, they might not know.
A 4-track is like, you know, it's basically you can record different segments of a song at different
on different channels.
Yeah, different channels. So, you know, you can record the beat first, and then like you can go back and lay down the vocals, and then go back again, and then like lay down like, you know, background vocals.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, you have another track to add anything else on there, you know.
And you were ahead of your time too, because you before like now like they're considered sound kits. You were doing that back in the day. You would literally just search and dig for a snare, a particular snare sound with a particular specific crunch or a kick. You would literally go through just
man. I had a lot of good ideas.
Libraries.
I had a lot of good ideas, you know.
Yeah.
In the past, but because of like, you know, other outside issues.
We'll get into that too, man. I'm just happy you're sober now, but
yeah,
because you have some crazy stories. People could learn from that shit, you know.
Yeah, you know.
But you would always be on. Yeah, you would always like be making stuff, you know. Always.
And you know what was a trip about that time in my life too is that like I had nobody to really like bounce ideas off of. You know what I'm saying? Because I had all these crazy ideas and. I bet you a lot of it sounded like gibberish because, you know, I was doing things that like maybe some other cats weren't doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
give
the
me
ideas.
Give me an example.
Like I had this idea to do sound kits, right?
That's a thing now.
You know, because what I was like originally aiming to do is what is out nowadays, like on YouTube. Like, you know, you have channels like Steezy as fuck.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just putting out like these beat tapes.
Right.
You know, just of instrumentals from like guys like all over the world. And they're like, you know, 20, 30 minute, like, you know, beat tapes of, you know, no lyrics or nothing like that, but just like, you know, stuff that you can vibe to. And I wanted to do stuff like that back then. You know what I mean?
That stuff's coming back.
Too, I remember like, you know, my thing was like, you know, because I kind of learned from my brother. My brother used to like, you know, document all these videos that he used to record, you know, off of these shows. I remember when Napster was out there. Remember Napster?
Yeah.
And you know, all these streaming like, you know, channels. I used to have like thousands of instrumentals. You know, like, you know, instrumentals from, you know, you name it, A through Z. You know, I had, you know,
Alcoholics.
Yeah, I mean, you name it, dude. Like anything, if there was an instrumental out there that was on Napster,
Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
You name it. I mean, like I would dig for that stuff. You know what I mean? And then I had this idea to like, you know, put out like, you know, these instrumental CDs so that like, you know, guys that like to write and you know, spit, you know, they would have like music that they could actually, you know, bust to.
And I want to, if we could brush upon like just your brother and the influence he had on both of us too. Like, so shout out to Larry.
Yeah, Rhyme Style.
He was a real head because I remember even back during the distillery days too. Like he was not only into like the writing and the raps, but he was quite a solid b-boy for, you know, like, and I just remember that one of the nights there I was just trying to get my thing going, and these guys, I didn't realize these guys were about to like serve me up. Like, yeah, because I thought I was like really trying, like I was doing the Running Man, and then I was like really, and then these guys were kind of, because back then they had like house crews. There was a crew called Stussy. That's a stupid name now. Like, why would you name a crew off of a clothing brand? Yeah. But they had like fluorescent laces. They started circling like a wolf pack, and then Larry. I said, dude, I want to thank Larry for this. So I was about to just get served up, and Larry, he served the whole club. he battled the whole club. I mean, I'm talking cruise upon cruise upon cruise. And then I just remember, I didn't know he had it like that.
No, my brother has always been a really competitive, he's always had a competitive spirit. And that's carried over into anything that he's ever done.
And this is in the this is in the 90s. Yeah. He used to do a move called the teardrop, where he would like be on his feet and then he would drop and do like an inverted like neck thing, and he would pop up, and then it'd be like boom.
I look at like what do
yeah.
you call like the stuff that like like on these Red Bull
B-boy
like
like B-boy Lilu and all that. Yeah. These
dudes,
they're advanced now.
Yeah,
they're
I
really
mean
advanced.
like the progression.
Shout out to B-boy Casper.
The progression of the culture,
B-boy
man,
Casper.
is bananas. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's been or where it once was, like during our era, to where it's at now.
I know, but back then it was more of a rarity because it wasn't like that on there wasn't like sponsorships and shit like that.
And that's why like it's always important to pay homage, man, to the people that came before us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because there was
my brother being one of them for me anyway. You know what I'm
I
saying?
looked up to you. I learned most of my knowledge like who's Saphir, who's that, or this and that. But he used to be part of a L.A. kind of collective called Hip Hop Hippies.
Yeah.
And so a dude named Black Silver.
Yeah, shout out to Black Silver.
Shout out to Black Silver. I was watching a CBS graffiti documentary, and I was like, I didn't know he was a part of that.
He's another guy too, man. Like one of these guys that even back then, I mean, dude, this dude was like, he was dope at like
graffiti,
skateboarding.
He
could ollie this high. You know what I'm saying?
He was just in it.
I mean, like any kind of subculture,
he was into it.
Yeah.
And then
he's still doing his thing, man. He's advanced as hell.
When did he link up with Cool Keith to do Analog Brothers? This is
probably like maybe a few decades ago that they started linking up. He's tied in with like some big names. You know what I'm saying? And he's still doing his thing, man.
Yeah. So shout out to Silver.
Yeah.
I just remember back then, like I was in the back of a car, and we're kids from Poway, San Diego, and then your brother would meet up with people off Melrose, and he would introduce, people like that would come up to the car. I'm like, who is this guy? And
these dudes, like, man, had such an impact on me because I remember my, like the early stages of me, like, trying to create. I respected these dudes so much because of the things that they did. You know what I mean? Like culture-wise,
it was just purely skill too.
Yeah,
it wasn't about like fame.
This is back when, like,
or none of that.
Yeah, this is like before like YouTube or any
all
kind
that,
of like TikTok and all this other stuff, man. And these dudes were doing it strictly for the state of the art,
just for the art.
And and these guys used to like motivate me and inspire me, man. Just by like listening to my stuff and like seeing what I had. And they would always tell me, like, they would give me, like, the nod, like, all right.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And that would keep me going. You know what I'm saying?
So what producers or artists did you look up to, like, even back then when we were, like, high schoolers?
Like, I think there came a point where, I stopped listening to people that were already out there. Of course, like, some of the major influences that I had were, like, some of my favorites were, like, Razkaz.
Oh, he's still around.
Oh yeah. And his sons. Have you heard his sons?
No.
Coach Contra?
No.
Oh, these dudes are vicious, man. Like,
okay.
They set like a high standard, man.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so like Razkaz or Freestyle Fellowship. I can increase this list, but
I love it. Just keep going. I love it.
Like.
What about the Beastie Boys? I mean.
Beastie Boys.
When I saw them live, bro.
Yeah,
because they performed on mushrooms, bro.
Yeah.
I was tripping. Like, remember Ad Rock? He's like, "Don't mind us, we're on mushrooms," and I'm like, "What?"
Some of my early influences were like, Cypress Hill, of course,
dude.
Organized Confusion, of course, Main Source.
Yeah. Oh, so that's Large Professor.
Yeah, all these dudes that are on this this poster right here.
Can you name every?
I can name everybody on that poster.
Okay, because I don't think anyone's actually
the Beat Nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Start.
Chuck D.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Flash, Kumo D,
Dougie
Heavy
Fresh,
D,
Dougie
Too
Fresh.
Short.
Yep. Kumo D.
Large Professor, Africa Bambaataa, Dougie Fresh.
MC Light. Too. MC Light, Ice-T, MC Light.
Africa Bam, Ice-T, yeah.
We kind of breezed past Hyro, like, because Hyro, I got really into them. Once Dell dropped his shit, I got really obsessed with 93 Till Infinity and all that shit. And then even, remember, who's the other dude? God, there was another guy. Oh, Casual.
Casual, of course,
Casual, yeah. And, there's another guy. He did more...
Production-wise, though, I
remember, A+ is dope.
I remember just being just like blown away by like A+'s production.
That's what I'm saying, man.
One of my favorite joints of all time is how he flipped Cab Fare. You know,
yeah. Oh, dude, can I grab that CD? I have the CD.
Yeah, that's that's a classic right there. You know, it's just like it's one of them things like where they just don't make them like they used to, man.
So this is Bob James. This is not the album, but he looped the Taxi theme song. This is the CD. Yeah, so Bob James. You know what? They sample a lot of Bob James. I noticed.
You know, recently I was at a meeting recently, right? There was this guy named Michael Axelrod. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of him before?
He sounds familiar.
His father was David Axelrod. Okay,
and a rocker dude was he?
He was like a jazz musician.
Oh, jazz. Okay.
And they were playing his catalog of all the things that have been sampled from him.
From the 70s.
Yeah, dude. This dude was
70s was like a premier.
He was a beast.
Yeah. So you like their production and even their kind of rhyme schemes too, like the way they did the
man,
double syllable.
I still feel that they're top tier. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that they drop is definitely worth peeping. You know what I'm saying?
Like even Tajay had some shit like if I had a grip and stab.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like,
and then,
and these are old rhyme schemes that they had. You know what I'm saying?
But they were doing the syllable shit back then, and I didn't know what they were doing. Even like the double syllable, like A+ would be like, I know, high rogue, we got a fly flow. You know, like the double. You know.
Yeah.
The double syllable thing.
They made it look effortless, dude. Which was like probably like the thing about them that just really like drew me to their sound was like it just sounded like like that's just how they did on the regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, without trying, like they were dope. You know what I'm saying?
Who did most of the production on 93? Was it?
It had to be A+.
I think Del had a beat
and maybe a Domino.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean that really impacted me, man. Because out of all, I mean, like obviously Bizarre Ride. That's I don't even know how many times I've played that. I mean, actually when let's go like rewind back to the Fake ID. I remember when we were in high school, there was a dirt road. We wanted to fucking get drunk, and you had the ID, and then you said who was the cat that worked at the liquor store? It was like off a dirt road.
Yeah, it was this one liquor store where the guy. He really didn't even look at your ID. He was just always like, he was just trying to make a sale.
And that's when the alcoholism began.
Yeah, I used to go in there with like some glasses and my brother's like, military ID. Mm-hmm. And
we would rack so many 40 ounces.
I would, and like,
oh, dude, we would get
all
so
the,
faded.
All the seniors and football players and like,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, they were all hanging out at your place. I'm like, what's Jeff Addison doing here?
Yeah, but so that kind of like that's the beginning of when I look back about like when I first kind of like dove like head first.
You impacted our whole friend group. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony was into. He was into. No, Anthony was into some. He knew about all the kinds of shit.
But like
he was into guy, and he had R&B shit too.
I was what do you call, man? Like I was kind of like the new kid at the school.
Yeah, but you had that LA influence. You would drive down with all this new music. I'm like, what's that? What's that?
And so like coming out to Poway was like a whole new world for me, and especially being like Filipino, mm-hmm. and the school's predominantly like
white. You can say it.
And just trying to adapt out there and mm-hmm. like trying to get in where I fit in. Mm-hmm. Having that fake ID, man, like
that helped.
It boosted me.
It boosted you up.
And I definitely like had my fair share of partying.
Dude, I was so high and drunk off that dirt road. I don't know. It was in my MPV, and we were hotboxing in there, fucking drinking 40s. And I remember we were playing. What's that Far Side song? Pass the pipe. The pipe. Just pack the pipe. Yeah, and then I remember hearing that, and I think it was Romai's verse or something, and I thought I was like, it was on some schizophrenic shit where I'm like, did you hear that? Like, I thought I heard like little, like when people listen to Pink Floyd The Wall and shit, they're like, oh, do you hear that sound effect? Like, do you hear that wind? Or like, I thought I was hearing stuff. I don't know what was going on, but I was tripping hard, cause.
You remember one of my favorite like old time anthems was Beat Nuts.
Oh, they were some of my the Intoxicated
I want to
Demons.
fuck drink beer, smoke
some shit.
Fuck, drink beer, smoke some shit.
Yeah.
I used to get so hyped listening to that song, man.
Dude,
you know
that EP, bro, still holds up for me, dude. Come on, dude. Check out Beat Nuts.
Intoxicated
Check
Demons.
out the Beat Nuts. Intoxicated Demons.
Yep.
That shit,
Classic.
dude. Every beat was hitting.
Yeah, that was that was a fun time in my life,
that
man.
kind of basically signifies like the shit. That's like I fucking love that shit because there's only 6 songs on it. And I'm like, okay, let's hear it again. Because back then you had to earn your listen. Nowadays people are so spoiled. They just you know what I mean? They got the iPad or iPod or whatever.
There's just it's
like different back then.
It's watered down, man. Like like everybody and their cousin, like is like either involved in the culture somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Well, nowadays I don't even know what it is because are you hip to like any of this shit out now? Like.
Like I listen to it whenever somebody happens to be playing it, but I don't actually search the stuff out.
They all use this effect on their voice. It's this what's it called? Autotune.
Yeah.
Every fucking
all
the beats sound similar and it's all autotune.
But what's funny about what you can do with art nowadays? It's like, dude, don't knock it till you try it, right? You know what I'm saying?
You know what? You're right. Maybe.
I've
never really tried. That's a way we were like that too back when we're that age.
But you know what I'm saying? Like
experimenting,
you just never know. Like you might actually even fall in love with Autotune. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Have you tried it?
No, I've never.
Okay,
but,
so that's a better attitude. Like, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you might get a whole
And you always give me the best advice because I'm the one person out of the group that didn't get girls. And then I came up to you for advice because I always see you guys on dates and stuff, dating all kinds of different females on campus, and then I'd pull you to the side and I'd go, how do you do it? And then I remember it still holds true till this day. You're like, you got to try.
No, I think what it was.
You were like, yeah, go ahead.
I think what it was though, like if you would have been rocking that hairstyle back in the day.
With this?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
You have to fight them off. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think
because look at you now, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it came later. It came later in life.
Do you still have those same problems?
No.
You don't?
No, I got a girl, man.
See?
Yeah.
See now
I'm my girl.
Now I'm in that boat. You know what I mean? Like I have maybe I might need to take some advice from you now.
Back then, well, the church camps didn't help. Because I would be on the tip where I would meet a girl, but I go, do you want to go to Bible study with me?
See, it's funny, man. It's funny, like how life is, right? Because, like that's kind of where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? Like, spirituality and those things are of importance to me in my life now. You know what I'm saying? And like maybe it's like the same thing. Like it's I don't get females
no, but the thing is,
like you did back then.
I guarantee you that's still there for you. You're newly sober, and I want to get to the point where you kind of went off course, because that's a pertinent time in your life and your story as well. Because there was a time where I lost.
I still remember this conversation that we had when I was working. Remember, I used to work at that one yellow building.
Oh, what was it?
It was an adult bookstore.
Oh, in Long Beach.
Yeah. Okay, you remember this time?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I remember I was on the phone with you. And
was I sober?
You were like thinking about
getting sober.
Yeah, getting sober and going to meetings, and you were talking about, hey, I gotta go because I gotta go and make coffee for this meeting
or set up chairs. Or
something. I got commitments, and our conversations would get cut short, because I'd be on the phone like probably talking out the side of my neck about instrumentals and production and whatnot. And then you were like, dude, I gotta go to this meeting. You know what I mean? And I remember you extended your hand to me like in that regard. You were like, trying to get me to go to meetings with you. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I wasn't ready, at that time.
And as they say, it's attraction rather than promoting it.
Yeah, for sure.
Something like that, you can't promote it. A person has to really be ready. And you have a gnarly story, and I want to get to this the gnarly.
Dude, and see, it's one of those things, man. Like, until you walk in those shoes, and you see somebody else go through what you probably went through with me,
Yeah, because
You know,
I was,
it's
but I was
painful.
still hanging out with you. I just didn't know what you guys were doing.
It's
I'd bring my
painful to watch.
sampler. I would bring my sampler over, and then you guys would, be in a different room. I go, hey guys, we're gonna do a track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Man, the disease is no joke, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It takes away everything that you've ever loved from you. You know what I'm saying? And like,
dude, you were willing to pawn your dude. Can I say the story?
well, go for it.
So one night I thought we were gonna work on music, and we happened to drive by this casino, Hawaiian Gardens, and you go, hey, let's just stop in there for a little bit, just real quick. I go, oh, okay. I wasn't too savvy in the whole gambling or poker or anything. So we end up going in there, and an hour goes by, 2 hours goes by.
Dude, I think
you're
were
at
there
the
for-
table, and then to the point where you lost your money, and then you pulled me to the side. You go, hey, let me talk to you. How much you got? You go like this. You go, hey man, how much money you got in your account? I go, wait, hold on, let me finish. I go, I don't know, Sean, because I was just doing the little nickel slot. I don't know what I was doing. I had no business being there. And you're like, hey man, just take $300 out. Take 300. And I go, well, Sean, that's a lot of money. And you're like, I will make it back. I'm gonna make it back. So I go, okay, here you go. And so it ended up being, and then you start saying stuff like, they got food here. They got Chinese food here. I was eating chow mein, and I'd be sitting there, and to the point, hold up, let me finish, where it was the next day. It was like 7 a.m, and I'm in the casino, and then I go, Sean, dude, can I have your keys, dude? Can I just crash out in your car? And so I crash out on the passenger side, and it was in the morning time, and then I remember sleeping in your car, and then you knocking on the window, and you're like, I made your money back. But then, hold on.
Bro.
I'm missing a major point. Because we're kind of finagling about the money. Because, I'm still frugal in a way. I go, well, you're going to make the money. And you go like, dude, I'll give you my MPC. You're willing to get, you don't remember that? You're ready to pawn your MPC, the love, just your main arsenal of making beats. You're willing to say, I'll give you that.
Yeah, just in case if I did.
If you didn't make the money.
If I didn't make the money back.
Yeah.
See?
So, yeah, man. So I didn't realize that. I didn't realize how,
dude, I was
wrapped
deep.
up in that.
I was like so wrapped up in like the gambling and the lifestyle and you know what I mean, like the drugs, man, and
So what were you like back then? You were smoking a stimulant, right? I mean,
yeah.
Can we talk about that? Like,
I was a I was a mathematician.
So you would like explain what? Can you write that out? I like that. That was a cool kind of whatever title thing.
A crystal Methodist. You know what I'm saying?
So describe what that is.
Well, you know what I mean. There's different names for it or whatever, man. But like basically, it took everything that I loved from me. You know what I'm saying? Career, music. And just brought me down this it seemed like it was a never-ending black hole. You know what I mean? And
the gambling didn't help.
The gambling, kind of accompanied,
the dopamine hits. Yeah.
And then coupled with I was like burning bridges and you know what I mean? Like I stopped working at the office,
Cause you had it all mapped out, bro. Like, cause your dad was the man. Rest in peace, my pops and your pops.
Word up.
Rest in peace. But dude, I used to do taxes with your dad every year, dude. He would hook me up. He knew what he was doing, dude.
I remember it came to a point, dude, like where, you would call the office and like
you weren't around, bro.
Yeah, I was always gone. You know what I'm saying? And I was my dad's first employee. And
you broke it down to me. You're like, okay, these are deductions, and you like break shit down.
Well, like now, like that I got like a little bit over 9 months or whatever, man.
Dude,
I'm
so happy, dude. That man, you're doing the right thing.
Man, you don't know how relieved like my family is now. I'm there for them.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know you're doing the right thing. Just keep doing what you're doing.
God,
I'm not. That's why I met your buddy. I'm like, okay, I'm glad that he's sober too, and he got you here safe. But this is the thing. When everyone has their bottom, you have a crazy. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it like pretty short or whatever. But like everything kind of clusterfucked all at one time for me, right? I was like 260 pounds. You know, I'd burned every bridge that was, you know, extended to me. You know, my father passed away. You know, I had like fair weather friends, you know, the type of friends that would only like maybe come around when, you know, you had something or they wanted something from you.
Exactly.
And, you know, like it came to a point, man, like where I just didn't even give a fuck anymore about even like, you know, seeing like, you know, a week down the road or even the next day, you know what I mean? And things were just really, really dark, dude. And, I remember,
you remember the night that shit
yeah,
like, hit the fan?
it kind of happened unexpectedly, man. And, to be honest, like I'm kind of glad that it happened in retrospect now because, you know, I picked up a bag, you know, of some mathematics.
Yeah, we'll just say mathematics. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and I, you know, was unaware that it was laced. It was laced with some fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, and you know, I remember I was like, you know, isolated in my room and you know, just really, really depressed, broke. You know what I mean? Broken spirit.
Was it in Long Beach?
Yeah.
Were you still in Long Beach?
And you know, I had, you know, no kind of connection with God. You know what I mean? I was like on the verge of giving up. I remember I was like looking at this bottle of Tylenol, and there was like a gang of capsules in it, and I was like, I wonder how many it would take.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I was thinking about it, you know, but then, you know, that whole night, you know, I think this was around like maybe Father's Day, right? And like, you know, my father passed away like in 2020 in December, and I remember it was like, you know,
it was 2020 because mine did 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah. So around the same time, Sean.
Yeah, you know, and I remember like, you know, and one of the things that hurts the most, man, you know, being sober today, right, is my father not being here to see his son.
Yeah.
With this much time, you know, on his own.
Right.
Because you know he seen me like, you know, be sober like when I was locked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think those were like maybe
just
the
you
longest.
Saying those words too just blows my mind because I know you during when things were more innocent and we're in Poway, and then when you told me the first stint there, and I'm like, what what?
Dude, I'm, you know, first one in my family to go to prison, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the first one to like, you know, to go through rehabilitation, treatment.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to get to that.
First one to become like a member.
Right.
You know?
I want to get to that, but I want you to finish the story where you kind of were at your lowest, and then I want to get to the prison stuff after that.
Okay, and I think one of the moments that I remember so vividly was when I had, you know, I called the ambulance on myself because I felt like I was dying after, like, you know, smoking the stuff that I was unaware that it was laced. And that night, dude, I remember, like, you know, calling out to something greater than myself. Like, you know what, man? Like, yeah, like, you know, I don't want to die like this. I don't want to die like this.
Did you already smoke? Did you already intake the substance?
Mm-hmm. And
then were you, because that shit, it takes a little bit, and then.
And I just remember, like, just being like, you know, I didn't want to die that way, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to die that way. And it's, man, like, you know, these last 9 months have just been like, you know, a trip, man. And I remember, like, you know, with everything that kind of fell apart, like I had nobody, right? You know, my mom lives in Henderson, and
do you have my number, dude? Like, you should have hit me up,
dude.
Man.
Yeah,
like,
of course, dude. Like, you know, of course there were people that care about
dude.
me. That
oh man, like.
But you know, like, you know, things happen the way they happen, dude.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if I had your number and called you, you probably would have bailed me out, and I probably wouldn't be telling this story right now.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, you know, how everything works out, man, is it's all got to be like, you know, God's grace, man.
So you dodged you dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You dodged a bullet, man.
And then, you know, so I ended up going to the hospital. I ended up going to the hospital for like a week, right? And I tried to get into treatment, and you know, beds were all full.
And you made that decision.
Yeah, because like I was like, dude, I don't want to live like this no more. And then,
yeah.
and that time that I spent at Long Beach Memorial,
that's the thing you got to say when you're ready. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah,
I
don't want to live this way. Yeah. You know, and like, you know, all of my best ideas, man. Like I was like, you know, I was so broken, dude, and like, you know, I just had no clue on how to like live a regular, normal life.
Right.
You know, I was at that point where I didn't even want to do it no more, but I was still doing it. You know what I mean?
And that's when you know you got a problem.
That is crazy, right? Yeah. To be in that headspace right there. And I remember when I got out of the hospital, and you know, shout out to Long Beach Memorial, the nurses there, man, because you know they helped, you know, nurse me back to health, and you know, they showed me care and concern when I didn't even have care and concern for myself.
Yeah.
You know, and I just saw them as being like, you know, extensions of God's hands, you know. And that experience being in that hospital room for like a week, I remember I was trying to get into treatment and all the beds were full. And at this point, like, you know, I'm like, all my belongings are in my truck, and I'm basically homeless, you know, and like I had no money. I had nobody to call, you know.
And the car was gone. The Audi was gone.
No, the Audi was gone. Like I was like, you know, I had a truck at the time, and I was basically living in my truck. I was going down to the park to bird bathe and everything. You know what I'm saying? And like
to that point.
Yeah, and you know, but I remember when I got out of the hospital though. I remember I didn't want to use anymore though. You know?
Yeah.
And
so you had, and that was something different.
Yeah. And like I said, I was like 260 pounds, dude. You know, it was
yeah.
No, you know, super overweight, and
you look
like
healthy, dude.
My health was like, you know, completely in the shitter, and like, I remember I went to this 7-Eleven on Wardlow.
What's that? Is that in Long Beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ran into this dude who I used to use with. Shout out to KT.
Yeah.
He was looking for the address 7-Eleven Wardlow. Okay. He ends up getting lost, pulls over to this 7-Eleven on Wardlow. And like I said, I used to use with this guy, and like, you know, a few years prior, like when I last seen him, it looked like he was about to die. You know what I mean? Like he was on his last leg. I thought he had like maybe a month to live, but I end up running into him again at this 7-Eleven on Wardlow.
Randomly, just like a freak random event.
Yeah. Okay. And another funny thing about that number 7-Eleven, right, is his sobriety date is 7-Eleven. You know what I mean? And the way things lined up, bro, I'm telling you, it's just
star alignment.
Yeah, you know, it was like a God shot with a scope, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Was literally, hey,
and so
you this.
Yeah,
I'm presenting this to you.
And so I go inside 7-Eleven, get my cup of coffee. I come back out, and he's standing there, and he's like, "What's up, dog?" And you know, I'm like, "Dude," you know, and I heard he had gotten sober. And I didn't know how he did it though, right? And
you weren't sober yet.
No, well, I had, you know, just got out the hospital.
You're thinking about it.
I was like trying to get into treatment, but you know, all the beds were full, and he had gotten treatment at this place called Pacifica House in Hawthorne.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's, you know, crazy, dude.
Yeah, and he's standing there, and like, you know, when I come outside of 7-Eleven, and I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, you know, I just got out the hospital, almost died. He makes one phone call, and 2 days later, I'm over there like receiving treatment for the first time.
Wow, that was
on my own.
That was meant to be, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, who else could have?
I mean, like, dude, you know, he's looking for.
That's just
7-Eleven Wardlow. He gets lost. I'm at the 7-Eleven on Wardlow needing treatment,
and his sobriety date is 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Okay, and the day that I ran into him, it was like maybe like 7/13.
Those are threes, right? That was a 3 event.
Yeah. And then I ran into him like on like it was like July 13th, and then like 2 days later I was in Pacifica House, like, you know, starting this journey.
So you were at 7-Eleven. He was looking for 7-Eleven. His sobriety date is 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, like maybe, you know, and at that point, I really, really like stopped believing in coincidences. You know what I mean?
That was just, that was some movie shit, like something,
I mean, like even when I tell the story, man, it still gives me chills because it's like, come on now. I felt like,
him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He knows you're clean?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's his name? Can I give him a shout out?
KT.
KT.
Valentino,
Hey, bro,
man.
I really appreciate you being there that night.
Yeah, you know, and you know, one thing that he always
out.
told me, man, like, which I, you know, I try to practice this now, even in my life today, is that I remember being so grateful to him, man, and you know, so appreciative to what he did for me, and thanking him, that all he told me was like, hey, man, you know, when things start getting better for you,
yeah,
just pay it forward.
You know what I just realized too?
Do it for the next guy.
Exactly. This is no longer the Steebee Weebee Show. It's Soft White Underbelly. Because it's getting that real. But you mentioned something too about, because I had a guest here.
Yeah, I know of him. I seen him on Soft White Underbelly, and his story was a banger, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, really inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But because you now I want to get to the prison stuff, because I know you got some stories.
Yeah.
What was that? I mean,
you know,
is it something? Because it's like, I know you. You know, I know your path. I know Shann.
Yeah.
And you being in there, I can't even imagine how the hell do you navigate? Because that's a whole different world in there, isn't it?
You know, like, not only was I the first one in my family to go to prison and get a number, you know, I think I was like also like, you know, the only guy in the group, Flintstones, that went to prison.
Out of the whole group?
Yeah, out of all the guys that we used to hang out with.
Didn't get hit?
I don't think so. But, you know, who knows? But, you know, and so, like, you know, I was the first for all these different things, right? And when you go to prison, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you're Asian, Islander, or if you're just an other.
So that, clarify, when you're in jail, there's black, white,
yeah,
black, white, and Latino.
Yeah,
right?
you know, yeah, there's Southerners, yeah.
Southerners. But then if you're not any other
Yeah.
race, you're others.
Yeah, you're an other, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And, you know, that experience right there in itself is like, it's you're a rarity. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, majority of people, like, you know, that are locked up, right? You know, you hardly see any Filipinos.
Or Asian.
You hardly see, you know, there are plenty.
So there would be a guy from like an Indian dude, like from.
Yeah, and he would run with us. He would run with us. You know what I'm saying? Or
like a Pakistani guy.
Or a Persian guy, or, you know,
what about
like
if you're
different.
Armenian?
Yeah, sometimes.
So they're the
sometimes.
others. They're the others.
Sometimes, depending on where they grow up.
So when you're there the first day, is it like, what is that? Is it like the movies and stuff, like they?
Well, you know, usually, like, when you're going into a situation like that, you want to be, like, well informed. So, of course, like, you know, other guys that I could talk to, they would lace me up and tell me about, you know, what to expect.
So
you know
there's
what I'm saying?
rules in there.
Yeah. You know, some rules that, like, you know, I don't continue to live by, like, you know, now that I have my freedom or whatever. But, like, when you're in there,
you have to.
Yeah, you have to abide by the rules, or, you know, you might get DP, you might get disciplined. You know what I'm saying?
What's
beat up.
Oh, because
Get beat up. You know what I'm saying?
Get beat up.
Yeah.
Give me an example of.
Okay, like, you know, let's say, for example, you get a sack lunch, right?
Yeah, what's in the sack lunch?
Like a peanut butter jelly sandwich,
Okay.
maybe a piece of fruit, and
That's the meal.
maybe like a juice or something like
Okay.
that. And let's say there's like a dude that you know from the streets, and he happens to be, you know,
a different race.
yeah, like others we can share with brothers, right?
Also, you can share with other races.
Yeah, okay, except for, you know, like maybe Southerners, and also like maybe the Woods.
In the Woods or the Whites.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, like that goes both ways. But, you know, usually, like, you
Really?
know,
I didn't know that. So
the other car, right? Like, because you can know somebody from the streets, dude, and like be super tight with them, but, you know, there's rules in there that you have to kind of like overlook, like, you know, how you know them on the street.
So
in order to survive in there.
Really good homies with a dude.
Yeah.
And he's a different race. You can't be like, what's up? You kind of have to.
Yeah, like, you know, like we can, like, you know,
like, hey, I see
we
you.
could bump fists and all that kind of stuff, and we could chop it up. We
But
could
you
talk.
can't play cards with them.
We can't play cards. We can't, like, you know, share food with them. We can't, like, exercise with them. We can't sit on their beds. You know what I mean? Like, and we can't talk about, like, you know, the things that are going on, like, you know, within the car. Like, you know, we can't politic with each other. You know what I mean? Everything has, like, you know, like a hierarchy and, like, you know, a shot collar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, but, you know, like that's.
So didn't you had a story
for
too?
the birds, though, bro.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you have no choice and you're in that environment, of course, man, you have to kind of, like, you know, you have to act accordingly, right? You have to follow suit.
Follow suit. Now, is there, like, is this just in the movies? But is there when you drop the soap? Just bear with me.
Okay.
Just
all right.
Stay with me. Does that happen?
Yeah, but
It's not like that though.
These scenes that that you.
It's not. It's not like the movies.
Yeah, because that's you know what I mean. Like some guy. Just imagine some guy just just.
Don't do that, look.
You know what I mean? Like you drop the soap and he's just like, and he's like licking his lips like.
No. So that.
Yeah, that's
okay, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and plus, you know what I mean? Like, you would have some people in your corner that would hopefully prevent that from happening. You know what I'm saying?
They'll check you. They'll be like, "Hey, dude, like, what are you doing?"
Or like, yeah, like,
dude, that's
like if we were in jail together, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we would run together.
Yeah. Because I would be the others.
Yeah, you'd be with the others. You know what I'm saying? If somebody laced you up properly, because like sometimes people don't get laced up properly, and they end up running with another race sometimes.
Okay,
you know what I
mean?
Because they don't know any better.
Let me give you a scenario. What if we're in there together, and then one day, is there a rec time or something, or where people can?
Yeah, there's like yard time.
During yard time, I'm chilling like with the cholo homie,
right?
And we're sitting, and I'm playing cards with them.
Oh yeah, dude, you're getting beat up for sure.
Really?
Yeah, they'd be like, "Hey, Steve, come back here. We want to talk to you for a second, right?"
Wait. Who would do? Wait, hold on, man. Don't be so aggressive with it. Who would do that to me?
So usually there'd be
would it be a part of my group, the others?
Yeah.
So someone would be. Is there a leader of the others?
There's usually like a shot caller or
So he would he'd go, "Hey, Steve."
Or no, he would the way he arranged it up, like because
usually play it through.
Usually, what would happen, right? It would be kind of unexpected or whatever, right? Like they might just want to they might act like we might need to talk to you about something or whatever, I don't know, whatever case may be, but they would call you in the back. You know what I mean? Like, "Hey, Steve, let me holler at you for a second, bro."
And they would come as a friend.
And you go back there, and as soon as you turn around,
lights out.
Yeah, you got like 2-3 dudes, like.
So when they do that, is it a confined small space where they're doing so are they doing Mike Tyson? Are they doing left hooks and?
Dude, they're trying to discipline your ass.
So are they throwing knees, Muay Thai knees, or are they throwing elbow? There's blood involved.
There can be at times, depending on who's on the squad.
Can I ball up? How do I defend myself?
You could even fight back if you wanted to. You can fight back. Yeah.
Really?
So,
but they're probably bigger. I'm a small guy.
Usually the way they would do it, they would keep it fair, and they would maybe get 2 or 3 guys that are about your size,
and they would just
but the bigger the guy, of course, the bigger the dudes would have to be, right? Because just imagine a guy your size on somebody that's 250, 300 pounds.
So is there a time limit? Is there a
Yeah, depending on when those guys feel like you've had enough.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know what I mean?
And then, okay, when it's over, right, and I got a black eye, do I apologize to the group?
No, you just know better.
Say, "Hey guys, I'm sorry.
No,
I went too far."
You would just be it would just pretty much be like, "Why did this happen to me?" And it'd be like, "Probably because you were playing cards."
Oh, right. So you can't. That's a no. Can I give you one more scenario? Okay. Yeah. So wait, we're almost there. This is gonna run a little longer because this is my homie. This is fucking family right here.
Okay.
Hey, cheers, man. I'm having a good time with you.
Okay.
We're gonna do part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever it takes.
Okay, but listen to this.
Wait. Let me do my scenario.
Okay, another scenario too. But okay, let's say I got this monster right here, right, and you happen to be another race. You couldn't drink after me. You know what I'm saying? It's
out of the same.
Yeah, you might have.
I wouldn't do that regardless anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
My drink.
Yeah. But see, it's rules like that. If you're drinking, you can't be drinking from the same cup.
Okay,
you know
since you brought that up, what if a guy from a different race starts giving me, "Hey, I got a fresh bar soap, Steve. Hey, you want it?" Or I got a candy bar, and then they start giving me stuff.
That's a no. They're probably trying to set you up for failure. They probably want to see you get beat up.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, you can't take nothing from no other race.
Okay, this is my last scenario. So it was during rec time again, and then you're you don't see me right. You're like, "Where's Steve at?" Okay, and then I'm gone for quite a bit of time.
Okay.
And I come back, and they put a tattoo on me, and it's like their gang or whatever. And then I go, "Hey, they did this. Well, look what happened." What happens then?
You mean from another race?
Yeah.
No, that would never even happen, bro. Because the dudes that would even think about giving that tattoo would get beat up.
Really?
Yeah.
From who?
You could from your own race.
So the others would stand up.
Yeah, it wouldn't even happen though, dude, because the guys that usually do the tattoos, they know better not to get involved, like, in doing things like that. No matter how much you would pay them, like you would need to get a tattoo from your own race, or the brothers.
Oh, right. So, what's the top 3 etiquette things you need to have to survive? Like, what isn't being clean a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's mando. You know what I'm saying? For you to like,
what is that?
Mandatory.
That's mandatory.
Yeah.
So name it. So what are 3 things that are mando?
Okay. You mind your own business.
You be quiet.
Right? Mind your own business. You just follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't.
You jerk off in there?
Yeah, you can pull it off.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
Are the fifis for real?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, dudes get to that point. You know what I mean?
So how do they gather the materials to create a fifi?
Dude, like they're way more creative than you are in jail.
No, dude. They don't have I have the best kid here.
Yeah, you probably do. But like, in there, like, they get latex gloves and they get like, I can't believe I'm talking about this stuff. Shampoo and like, water and like, what I'm saying?
Wait, they use shampoo?
Yeah, like that's like, the closest thing to like,
lubrication?
Yeah.
They use shampoo?
Yeah, I mean, they do. When you're in an environment like that, you have to get super creative.
Oh, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
They use
so
like
there's no Vaseline in there?
No, dude. No.
I'm sorry, I don't know, man.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no.
Yeah.
What about lotion?
Yeah, they get lotion.
Then why not use lotion?
Well, not everybody can afford it.
But
probably.
what do they do with this? What's the purpose of the sock? Because don't you have to put the latex glove?
That's like that's the
that's the outer.
That's the catch. You know what I'm saying?
That's a catch.
That's the catch.
And then how do they keep it together? Do they use rubber bands?
Yeah. What do you call it? It's the what do you call it? The gloves, right? The latex gloves,
I just showed you mine.
Yeah, like the
the
elastic.
latex,
at the end of the gloves, yeah.
Oh, they use that?
Yes.
That's ingenious. So they cut that out and they tie that a knot.
Yeah.
I've
seen them, but like personally, I've never used one in jail.
Dude, that'd be cool if that Instagram page of just fifis.
Yeah, right.
An Instagram page of just. I'm sorry.
How to? I'm telling you, like, dude,
Holy moly.
I'm telling you, you know how like you do these vlogs, right? You do these vlogs about all.
Man, go check out my vlogs, man. Man, tuning out on me, man. I get the real shit here, dude. Like please,
dude.
Fuck, man.
Are you still doing?
What do I need to get Jim Carrey in this motherfucker?
Do you still get what do you call it? Do you still get stuff sent to your
this
PO
is
box?
what I like doing. The homies here talking, dude. I'm in the most comfortable with you. Here,
right?
Because it's like it's like a lot of these guests I have to really like. I got to do research and. So when does your special drop? And what's your process like? I'm sick of doing this shit. Like I want to get more of this. I want to kind of maybe I'll do the soft white underbelly, but like B-sides. Like like I won't have the production value, but maybe I don't know. I like doing this, getting the real. It's more relatable to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man. I got you a cheeseburger after this. Whatever you want to do, I got you. Hey, dude, we got to do part 2, 3, 4. But I want to stress how talented you are as far as your production, man. And I think you still got it. Okay.
Hey,
dude, like,
let me ask you
if there's because I've had like artists on here, man. Dudes, we used to. Dude, that's another trip, and I'm not knocking. I like them in here because that's like, I can't believe this dude's in here. And I've had, the Grouch has been here.
Oh, really?
Satch from the Nonce has been here.
Damn.
Red Maddox been here.
Hey, that's why, man.
Z-Trip's been here. Like, if I had...
It's an honor and privilege to be here, brother.
But I look at you the same or even, you know what I mean? Because I know how talented you are. So I'm saying, like, if there's any artists out there that does production beats or artists that are looking... for the relayer type production, how do they get a hold of you?
The only thing that I really have right now to get a hold of me would just be my Gmail.
No, but you're on Instagram.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
Well, you know, I have
Dude,
my Instagram is
yeah. Plug that, because they could start following you on that.
or is it my TikTok?
No. You have an Instagram because you reached me through Instagram too.
Is it Fob Marley?
Let me get my phone now because I want to make sure we got this straight. Yeah, but anyway, because you know, man, I would, you know what I would love? I mean, focus on recovery first, but dude, because I know, because we've already started talking.
Dude.
We already start talking about music and stuff because I'm working.
Yeah, Fob Marley with 2 B's.
So Shann's Instagram, I'm telling you, man, I want you to start, because I want you to start. I know you don't care about any of this stuff, but I want you to start eventually doing your music again. So it's FOBBMARLEY, Fob Marley with 2. Fob Marley. Dude, you got to choose a different name. But it's that for right now.
Yeah.
Until he changes it eventually.
Or, you know, you can...
Fob Marley with 2 B's. Dude, I want you to... My hope for you, bro, because I know that you're the most... out of all these, dude, you have the most love for, dude, you're OG, bro. Like, at this point, you've been doing beats. Dude, I bet you money if you had an MPC in here right now, dude, you would be able to just do shit on it and be like, hey, this is what I came up with.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Okay, you know, recently I just sent you a file, right?
It's a banger. Can I play it? It's a banger.
Yeah, maybe.
Let me play it. It's a banger, dude. And I said it's a banger. I'm like, oh, dude. And then can I play it?
If you want to, you know what I mean. But let's see.
Well, hold up. Can you turn it up a little?
And that's a track that I just threw together, man. You know.
I like the build up. It's coming. And the drums. It's coming.
Plenty more where that came from.
You did that real quick, I bet.
Plenty more where that came from.
Dude, the thing about you two, like, we'll start wrapping things up. But you've always had, like, it kind of reminds me of fusion of, like, DJ Muggs mixed with the dude from Mobb Deep. That, you know, like, there's a dark, melancholy darkness looming. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it gives you that when you listen to it, it like gives you, like, you know, a grimace, like.
It's almost like just
it's dark
darkness, but there's
moody.
Yeah, there's a mood to it. And then you always said, like, if it's the head nod, you're like, oh wow, like, you know.
You know, I've you know, now that, like, you know, I have a little bit of, like, you know, clarity in my head, right?
Yeah.
I always like to stick, like, you know, to a certain kind of a formula. You know,
you've always had that.
It's just like, you know, it's keeping it simple. And using sparse elements, you know what I'm saying? Like the neck snapping, like type, like drum breaks.
How did you sequence? I mean, you don't have to give out the secrets, but like, how are you? Because I could tell you spend a lot of times on your drums. Yeah. Like, how do you?
Not really, man.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I just like what I like, right? You know, and
are you playing that out? Like,
no, I'm programming it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because that sounds like you're playing it out. You know, it sounds like you did that on MPC or something.
No, well, it's like, you know, I'm doing it like playing everything all at once and then just dropping things out here and there.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, that's just, man, like, there's plenty more where that came from, man. I'll tell you like that. And, you know, now that I have some clarity, right, and I am trying to put, like, you know, things in perspective now. You know, I'm putting God first, my recovery next.
I'm saying eventually after. I mean, I want you to do that, definitely. But through time, if you keep doing this, staying on this path, I want you to eventually get back into music.
Like, you know, I mean, it's something that, like, is definitely, like, you know, always going to be with me, man. And it's like, it's just like riding a bike or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, being able to have like some free time and to do these things, because, you know, like I said, man, God first, recovery next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then everything else will just fall into place the way it's supposed to.
Do you have access to beat making? Like, do you have the capability of doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and like, you know, I'm currently like, you know, in the process of maybe looking for like external equipment, you know, maybe even going back to school to like pursue, you know, like.
Well, I'm going to send you off
media.
when the cameras are off. I'll send you off for something, because I know that you like to tinker with like new things. I have a couple things that I could just give, you know, in this box. I'll be like, hey, here, make something out of this.
What about you, man?
Well, we'll do that for part 2. Dude, it's way past. Dude, I love you, man. I'm so happy.
Likewise,
I'm
brother.
so happy you're sober, dude. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Soft White Underbelly, Steebee Weebee edition.
Shout out to Fred Brown.
Yeah. If you want to help support the platform, go to patreon.com/Steebee Weebee. I do another podcast called Scissor Bros. Those episodes drop every Friday. Go to youtube.com/Scissor Bros. If you want to send any packages, I still have to open those. Be patient with me, guys. It's been kind of hectic here. I do have packages there. I'm going to do a unboxing video later, probably tomorrow or the next day. So I know it's been 2 months. Send all your stuff to, if you want to send anything to the podcast, send it to 1425 North Cherokee Avenue, P.O. Box 1391, LA, California 90093. Is there anything else you want to say?
Love you, Mom.
Yeah. And
Navarro's,
then Larry, we love you.
Navarro's, Larry.
Yeah.
Lawrence, love you, brother.
Yeah.
And Andrew, Ramen Brothers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll talk part 2. We'll talk about the Ramen Brothers production group.
Oh yeah, one more.
Yeah.
Daniel B, my guy.
Yeah.
Love you.
Let's get a cheeseburger.